Menopause is normal. It's a natural phase in a woman's life, marking the end of the reproductive years and the onset of various hormonal changes. It's normal, but the transition isn't always easy. Now, if you're going through perimenopause right now, which is the transitional period, or if you're on the other side of things into menopause, then you might be looking for ways to improve your health and deal with some of the changes that you are noticing so that you can actually enjoy this season of life. You might be experiencing symptoms like hot flashes, mood swings, weight gain, or disrupted sleep, or all of the above. One lifestyle approach that has gained popularity in recent years is intermittent fasting. But you might have wondered if it's okay for someone in perimenopause or menopause to try intermittent fasting. Is it safe? Will it help? Well, in this video, I'm going to answer all of those questions and more, so stay tuned. We're going to talk about the relationship between intermittent fasting and menopause, and I'm going to shed some light on how this dietary strategy may offer benefits for women going through this particular stage of life. Now, if you've watched me here on YouTube before, then welcome back, but if you are new to my channel, then welcome. I am Dr. Kim Foster and I'm an MD turned coach and wellness expert. I was a family doctor for 20 years before leaving the healthcare system to transition over to the wellness side of things. And I am also the founder of the Wellness Coach Academy, where we train aspiring coaches and help them to build their businesses. Here on YouTube, I share all kinds of tips to help you master the art of living well. And if that is the kind of content that you like to see on YouTube, then go ahead and like this video and subscribe so you don't miss any of my new videos. Now, let's talk about fasting and menopause. Now, before we get into things, I want to mention that a little while ago, I uploaded a video about intermittent fasting and women's hormones, specifically as it interacts with the menstrual cycle. So if you are still having regular cycles or even irregular cycles, then go ahead and watch that video too. I will link it in the description box. But like I said, in this video, we're going to focus on menopause and perimenopause. Before delving into the connection between intermittent fasting and menopause, let's just take a sec to define things and just to understand the physiological changes that occur during menopause. Menopause is typically diagnosed when a woman has gone through 12 consecutive months without a menstrual period. This milestone is usually reached in the late 40s to early 50s. The hormonal fluctuations that are associated with menopause can cause a whole range of physical and emotional symptoms. So some common symptoms usually include hot flashes, night sweats, mood swings, irritability, fatigue, and changes in sleep patterns. Also, many women experience weight gain, especially around the abdominal area, which can be challenging to manage. I hear this from women all the time, and I know that this is a big source of frustration. Now, let's just define intermittent fasting too. Intermittent fasting is not a diet per se, but rather an eating pattern that cycles between periods of eating and periods of fasting. It doesn't prescribe specific foods to eat, but rather focuses on when to eat. There are several popular methods of intermittent fasting, including the 16-8 method, where you fast for 16 hours and then eat during an 8-hour window, and the 5-2 method, which involves consuming a regular diet for 5 days and then drastically reducing your calorie intake on the remaining 2 non-consecutive days. Now, if you want to learn more about intermittent fasting and how to get started, then you can go ahead and download the free guide that I put together with my top 10 tips. The link is in the description. Okay, so all that said, I want to talk to you about the 5 different ways that intermittent fasting can influence your experience through perimenopause and menopause. The first one is all about hormonal balance. One of the key reasons that intermittent fasting has gained a lot of attention in the context of menopause is its potential impact on hormone balance. Research does suggest that intermittent fasting can influence hormonal regulation, including insulin and human growth hormone. And here's the deal. Insulin sensitivity tends to improve with intermittent fasting, which can be particularly helpful for women who are experiencing insulin resistance associated with age and the hormonal changes during menopause. Human growth hormone, which plays a crucial role in metabolism and muscle maintenance and fat utilization, also tends to increase during fasting periods. So this hormonal boost may help to counter counteract the decline in muscle mass and metabolic rate that often happens as we get older and as our hormones shift in menopause. The next way intermittent fasting can affect you is when it comes to managing your weight and your metabolism. Weight management is a common struggle for women during menopause because hormonal changes can lead to increased fat accumulation, especially around the midsection. Intermittent fasting may offer a potential solution by promoting weight loss. Fasting enhances metabolic flexibility, which encourages the body to use stored fat for energy during fasting periods. Research also suggests that intermittent fasting can improve insulin sensitivity, as I just mentioned, which reduces the risk of insulin resistance and type 2 diabetes. These are conditions, of course, that become more common with age and hormonal changes, such as menopause. So by managing insulin levels, intermittent fasting may help to mitigate the weight gain and just support overall metabolic health in menopausal women. But there are other benefits besides metabolism and weight and hormone changes. There are also cognitive benefits to intermittent fasting, which is the third factor that I want to talk to you about. Menopause is not only associated with physical changes, but of course also cognitive challenges for many women. Hormonal fluctuations during this phase can really impact brain function, which leads to symptoms like forgetfulness and difficulty concentrating and brain fog. Emerging research indicates that intermittent fasting may have neuroprotective effects and boost better brain function. One possible mechanism is the activation of brain-derived neurotrophic factor, which is a protein that supports the survival of existing neurons and encourages the growth and differentiation of new neurons. Increased levels of BDNF may contribute to improved cognitive function and may be particularly relevant for women who are navigating the cognitive changes associated with menopause. Okay, the fourth influence that intermittent fasting can have during menopause is on our mood and emotional well-being. Mood swings and irritability are common symptoms during menopause, and of course they're often attributed to the hormonal imbalances and also the changes in neurotransmitter levels. So can intermittent fasting help with that? Well, yes, it can impact mood and emotional well-being through several pathways, in fact. First, intermittent fasting has been linked to improvements in stress resilience and the regulation of stress hormones such as cortisol. Chronic stress is known to exacerbate menopausal symptoms, so interventions that can help manage stress may indirectly support our emotional well-being. But also, intermittent fasting may influence the gut-brain axis, which is a bidirectional communication system between the gut and the brain. We now know that the gut microbiome plays a crucial role in producing neurotransmitters and influencing mood. By promoting a healthy gut microbiome, intermittent fasting may positively impact mood and emotional health during menopause. Okay, the final influence that intermittent fasting can have on your well-being during menopause is about bone health. Osteoporosis is a condition that's characterized by decreased bone density and an increased risk of fractures, and it becomes a significant concern for women in our postmenopausal years. Estrogen plays a vital role in maintaining bone density, and the decline of this hormone during menopause can lead to bone loss. Now, while the direct impact of intermittent fasting on bone health is an area that requires further investigation, some studies suggest that intermittent fasting might have positive effects on bone metabolism. For instance, periods of fasting may trigger what's called a hormetic response, which stimulates adaptive mechanisms that enhance bone density and strength. It's important to note that adequate nutrition, including sufficient intake of calcium and vitamin D, remains crucial for maintaining bone health during menopause. Women considering intermittent fasting should make sure that they meet their nutritional requirements through a well-balanced diet or supplementation if necessary. Okay, so next I want to talk about some safety considerations. In my opinion, intermittent fasting holds a lot of promise for women in menopause. but it's essential to approach this dietary strategy with caution and consider individual variations. Women's responses to intermittent fasting can vary a lot based on factors such as overall health, pre-existing medical conditions, and lifestyle. Women with a history of an eating disorder, for example, should exercise caution with intermittent fasting, as it can potentially trigger unhealthy behaviors related to food restriction. Also, people with certain medical conditions like diabetes or heart problems should definitely consult with a healthcare professional before adopting intermittent fasting. It's crucial to emphasize that intermittent fasting is not a one-size-fits-all solution, and its effectiveness can depend on various factors. We all need to pay attention to our own bodies and monitor how we feel during fasting periods and make adjustments as needed. Now, if you are considering giving intermittent fasting a try, I encourage you to check out some of the other videos that I have uploaded on this topic, especially the videos about how to get started and how to avoid common mistakes with intermittent fasting. I will link those videos in the description. And like I mentioned, if you would like a written guide that you can download, then I've got you. I've put together a PDF that includes my top 10 tips for getting started with intermittent fasting, and you can just go ahead and download that guide completely for free. The link is in the description box. As always, I'd love to hear from you. Are you in perimenopause or menopause? Have you noticed some of the symptoms that I mentioned? If you have tried intermittent fasting, I would absolutely love to hear from you too and hear about your experiences with it. Let me know in the comments. Okay, that's a wrap for this video. Take care, have a wonderful day, and I will see you again very soon.